Next project from DMW has just arrived. Project Jeep, is that a thing? What's the go, Reuben? I thought Reuben was a Toyota guy, crossed the line and went to Nissan, and now he's gone to Jeep. 2 little shocks are going to be replaced by 2 big shocks. Take a look at the difference.
Well, we've got the gear, Aiden. We're putting the diff gears in today. Yep. See Big Craig, see where he's up to. Mate, I got some parts for you, big boy.
What have you done, mate?
Mate, well, you already know what I'm doing. Okay, I've got the parts for the diff.
Yeah, oh right, diff, yeah, okay. Yeah. We'll get into that.
We're doing diff centres, changing ratios.
Diff ratios.
He's trying to get out of it already, look at him.
Gonna make me sweat again. You brought a helper?
Yeah, we have today.
Yeah, right. I'll put him to use.
All right, very good. Where do you want these?
Chuck them on the bench over here,
on the bench, mate? So, have you done these before, Craig?
No.
Righto.
Does that instill confidence?
Well, it does, because we hadn't done a supercharger on a trail before, and it's awesome. So,
no, we'll get them done.
I watched a YouTube channel the other day about changing these axles for 𝗕𝗢𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗗 ones.
Yeah.
So, take this off, obviously undo the nut, and there's 3 bolts at the back here.
Yep.
That holds that whole bearing system on.
And it comes out.
And that comes out, and then you can just pop those axles out. Pretty simple, realistically.
Yes. Yep, right.
So then we should be able to get into the centre. Want to do front or back first?
Do the front, eh? Centre's here.
All right. Sounds wicked. So how good is YouTube, folks, about learning how to do things? Even if you're a fully qualified mechanic and you haven't done something, doesn't mean to say that you're not capable of it. It's just watching something that someone else has done to learn a few tricks, and it's amazing. So I'm going to put these things that I learnt the other day into action and see if they actually do work.
See if they're not lying, yeah. Good idea.
Now, another thing, and I always make fun of this, but where's the step so I can actually reach into your toolbox?
Down there. Not too far.
Trusty step. Righto, mate. Let's take the brake caliper off first.
So taking the caliper bracket off.
Caliper bracket.
Yep. So I'll take the bracket and the caliper off in one go.
Yep. So Aiden, you want to push down on that for me, mate? Push it. Push. There we go. Wow, everything what they said on YouTube is true. So we'll undo them. Get some 10 mils for me, please, mate. 10 mil sockets. Righto, time to drain the oil.
Now what I'll do, I might just take this one
Turned off, mate. There it goes. Look at the fresh coloured oil. Hey? You're right if Craig could keep up. 1. He just had to do 1. Would you like me to get it with my fingers,
Go
mate?
on.
Righto. Where's your... Ooh. I'm very limited knowledge, but old mate just popped them out.
Oh, the drive shafts.
Yeah. Now you're up too high. I can't even reach. Like that.
Like that?
Yeah. See? So it's that simple. Tell you what, thank you so much for all the information you gave me the other day. A fellow in America, I watched his episode, and everything is so simple. It's like I've been working on it forever.
That is one thing about Jeeps, I guess. So at the end of the day, They're pretty capable full drive.
Oh, locker. Yeah. So that's something we're going to have to be careful of, isn't it?
We don't want to break that.
Talking about not so simple. Well, probably is simple, but electromagnet, sucked it in. Is that how it works?
E-lockers are a great idea, yeah.
So more 𝗕𝗢𝗘𝗃 action and 𝗬𝗢𝗚𝗟𝗏. Just so you know, folks, I have sweat running down my back. Lovely Queensland weather. Folks at home, because I'm a little fella, that's a bit like I am.
Little tools.
Right, I've got a little tool. Craig, big tool, heavy, you know, more power. Righto, so that's the cap. Look at that.
Yeah, this will have...
That's got white metal in there. This like hasn't got an actual bearing cap.
No, that's your bearing there. And there'll be shims on either side of this, which is set to preload and everything. So,
righto, so
when
that's
it comes
the
out,
top.
we want to make sure we've got our shims.
So we need 10mm spanner, 10mm socket. Righto, mate. So if you want to get these here, yep, there you go, this one. Good boy. This one up the side here. That's it, yep. So you just gotta...
You're right.
That's it. No, you gotta hold it on. Yep, that's it. I wonder what all this is about. I wonder if that's going to leak a bit of oil. Maybe if we can share the love. That's it. So it catches both. There's that one, mate. Okay. It's as simple as that, folks. And it takes, you know, it take me a while to find that where Craig has got an extra foot on him and can see down on where the clip is.
Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem. This is why we work with you. And I'll have that, mate. So, folks, because we need a spreader, and they're actually pretty hard to get. They're a, what, $2,000 tool, is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, we're trying to save me the 40-minute trip back to my workshop to make one. So we've got some ratchet straps over here. So I've gone around the end of the tubes on the diff, back to the chassis, and we've put a bit of tension on it. And we've got it so the diff center will just move, but it's still way too tight. And you know, there's no point flogging out bearings or things like that. So I'm probably going to have to go back to the workshop and actually make a spreader.
So the reason why we need a spreader is we've got two bearings in here that are shimmed either side. And as you can see, the axle tubes come right up against the bearings. And we need to just open that out a little bit through those two locating holes there. Just spread that axle tubes out so that slides in and out really easy, otherwise we're going to be fighting it all day. So
this is it here. We've taken some measurements. So it's got threads, pretty basic looking tool. All we've got to do is go get some solid bar and I'll make some stuff out of bolts, but it's going to be time consuming. It's probably going to take me a good 2 to 3 hours to actually make that up properly. So we've just tried everything else. Maybe Craig's got a couple more tricks up his sleeve, but there's nothing in there. Like, we really need to purchase off that to actually push it around, don't we, Craig?
And open it up, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's one of the frustrations of it.
What's the point of flogging ourselves? Give an appointment of 3. I'll go back. I'll make the spreader. Then tomorrow we'll be able to smack them.
We'll need it for the back diff as well, so it doesn't really matter.
And the supercharger's not here yet, is it?
It turns up tomorrow. So
the supercharger turns up tomorrow, which I wanted to do today, but thanks, couriers. You ruined my day.
Freight company.
Because I don't care about the diff gears, I just want the boosty boys.
The power.
I tell you what, I'm in absolute awe. I'm standing on the top of Blue Rag here in Victorian High Country. Now, I've just driven down from 𝗕𝗢𝗨'𝗟𝗟 in my Jeep. It's just had a tune, had a supercharger. These guys have flashed diesel, sorted all that out. Now, it's sometimes scary travelling when you've had your car played with. But with these guys, My car is running an absolute treat, and it's using no fuel compared to what it was before, and it's like just got way more power. So guys, check out the Flash Diesel dealers near you and book your car in, because you won't regret it. Righto, so what we've got to do is on the front of that diff, as you guys saw, we've got 2 holes here, and we have to spread this opening in here. So my proposal, I've got these 2 pieces here, so they're going to go like this. Right, they've already got a hole in them down here. Now what we need to do is we need to put another hole up here for the 21mm spigot that's got to go in there. So that's 21mm. And we've got a 𝗕𝗢𝗚𝗘𝗗, and it's only got a 10mm stroke, and it's only about 65mm wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld some pieces onto the top of that. We're going to put that around like that. Okay, folks, like that. We're going to cut this to length, and then we're just going to put then these things are going to come in here like that, and the 𝗕𝗢𝗚𝗃 goes in this section here, and it'll push it out, and with these pins, and it'll spread that with what we need. So I've got a little helper here today, Aidan, and I'm going to give him a bit of an idea of what we're going to do, welding things up. So better get him some gloves and market all this out, and yeah, stay tuned. We're going to make an absolute masterpiece. These are going to be our upright pieces, okay? Before we weld anything, we're going to mark out these 2 here. So we want 280mm centre, so that's a 12mm hole. Right, so if we get that at, we've got that on the edge of that hole at 6mm, and we want 280 centre, 1 and then 80. So this is 50mm, so we want 25mm centre this way. Then we centre punch it. That there gives us our width. This one going up here, right? Like that. So then that's probably, see what's happening now? So then that'll go, we'll put the 𝗕𝗚𝗃𝗚𝗃 in there, and we'll make our blocks to do all that sort of stuff. So I need you to go get a couple of pairs of gloves, one for me, one for you. And get you to put the helmet on. I'm going to get you to tack these together. So what we're going to do now, you see I prepared that earlier. I eyed this up, turned this down like that, and what I did was I got that hole in the centre where the centre punch was. Alright, then I traced around that shape because we want to replicate this shape. Okay, so we can chop that off and then grind that shape later. So then we'll have our 2 bars either side of these here. But now we've got that all marked out, okay, and I've got these clamped up, okay. So we've got the bolt through there to make it 100% tickety-boo. That's sitting there like that. So get your gloves on. You alright? Yep. Hey? Yep. Righto. Does this go, what's that? Does that go dark? Yep. Goes dark? Yep. Righto. Grab hold of that. Right hand. So that's the trigger finger there. Alright, so what I want you to do is I just want you to do a tack like this. See that? Yep. Boy, come on there. comfortable? What do I gotta get that for? Yeah, good boy. So we're gonna put that in there. That's gonna keep them practically the same. The smaller drill, why do we use a smaller drill? A lot of material to take out to start with. So this is called putting a pilot hole in, and then you put the drill size that you actually want to use after the fact. So it seems like you're double drilling it, but the pilot drill actually makes it easier for the other drills to drill. Now this is a keyless chuck. You don't actually, the old style ones you had a key that you had to turn and tighten it up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go put this in the saw and chop that off to length. So turn that on, and this is your clamp. This one here is the speed that it goes down at. So we want to press that on. That's the blade. So now this button here, you press it, it'll start to go down, and this dial will let you know how fast it goes down. There you go. So it's all going down. See how it's going? Let that do its thing and cut it off. That's cut the length. Now all we have to do is shake that up, and then we'll have our pieces to the bottom of the bracket. So we'll go and pilot hole those once again, and we'll get 16mm there, and we need an inch in here. What's 25 plus 16, mate? Good boy, 41. So we'll set this at 41. So we'll take that over to the saw. So, what we're going to do is, so it's got a bit of purchase. We had worked out 300 was going to be max. So what we're going to do, we are going to stitch these together. So mate, today didn't actually give us everything we needed. We thought it was going to be a pretty simple day, get the diff centre out, but the Jeep threw some curveballs at us. That style of diff housing and diff, you actually have to spread the pumpkin to get the centre out. We didn't have a proper tool, so I took the opportunity to come to the workshop from Highfields, come to our DMW workshop and show Aiden a few things. So we learned how to weld today, learned how to grind, use the bandsaw, use the drill, and I reckon what we've made is absolutely cracker.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I had so much fun doing it with you, mate.
I did too.
So, what I reckon, we throw some paint on this and let it dry. Maybe go get some bite to eat and, you know, have a can of Coke.
Yep.
And head back out to Craig's and pull that centre out.
Sounds good.
Let's go. It's a grower, not a shower.
There we go. So we're going from a 411. Yeah, we worked out that's 411 to a 538. So for those that don't know, that's what did I say, 411. So that one, the pinion will do 4.11 rotations to turn the crown wheel 1 rotation. So now we've gone to 538,
Yep.
so it's smaller pinion.
Yep.
So that turns 5.38 times for 1 rotation on the
Yep. More revs,
centre.
but yeah, bigger tyres.
Problem with all this is big tyres, lower pit diff gears, and your
More
right
torque, more torque.
and your right foot.
And a supercharger.
Oh, and a supercharger. How good's the Jeep going to be?
Lucky we got Craig in his workshop. So we'll get that one off, Aidan.
Yep.
I'll put some new Loctite on it. So we just want to see that?
Good old lightning.
That one comes off, and then we put the other one on. Give it a nice clean up. You have a job, Aidan. You are going to feed these into me. These have already got Loctite on them. They're the original bolts, factory coloured Loctite, and these ones have got exactly the same thing. And the bearing is actually the same brand as well.
There you go. That's it.
Righto, mate, what have you learned so far?
How to take off a diff.
Well,
Legit.
we found out that they're quite difficult to get out of the centre if you don't, or out of the housing, if you don't have a diff spreader. So we made the diff spreader, and I'd probably make some modifications to that too so it doesn't flex. But look, as long as it gets this one out, I don't see that I'm going to be changing diff ratios in another Jeep anytime soon. But we've got one now, and you know, we've got it out. We've pressed the bearings off the old pinion, and now we're going to have to set all this up and press all the bearings onto this one, because now once we get all that and do the torque settings, we'll flip this back over.
Yep.
We'll put the locker back on, we'll press the other bearing on the other side, and then we should be able to put it all back in.
It's nice and tight.
You reckon that's tight enough? That's not over tightened?
That'll bash off. Should spin good, so that's pretty much set to go in, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to get the pinion done now. So, and then we'll have to probably dummy fit it just to make sure everything lines up and get some patterns on the...
Yeah. Craig's made the call on the preload there, so happy enough with his expertise with his feel. You want to put the spreader on first?
So we're pretty happy with all this, eh? We've got our
Yeah.
pinion preloaded and set up. That's all cool. We've done our backlash and got that set up with dial gates. That's fine. Torque those up. We'll just do I'll just put some paint on the gears and we'll just spin it around and make sure our mesh pattern's good.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, look, end of the day, probably just sitting a little bit
Yeah, high, not
on the
quite,
high, but
not
if
centre.
it was sitting back from there to there, would be pretty right.
Yeah.
That side there, on the reverse side, could be a little bit lower, but yeah, it's pretty good.
You happy?
It's not perfect, which I'd love it to be, but to actually, to get all that set up, we need to change our pinion depth with shims and stuff like that. So pull everything apart, reshim it all.
Yeah.
Again, once you reshim that, you've got to change all your
Yeah. So
backlash
it's
position.
quite a large job.
It's
to
not,
do.
setting the diff up isn't simple or straightforward
No.
by any means. And often when you're doing, like if anyone's trying to do it at home, to get the shims and the diff spreaders and all that sort of stuff to do it, it's not,
No,
you haven't got
are just
easy
gonna-
access to it.
No, people are just going to throw them in anyway and get it close enough, good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been done in a controlled environment. We've got a good result. 7 out of 10 is fine by me. You know, we're going to go hardcore wheeling. I'm probably going to break axles and do different things anyway, so it's not going to be the first time this diff's going to be out.
Yeah, look, if that was sitting back there, I'd be happier. But look, to change it, we're only talking a little change. To do that is a lot of work to do it, and yeah,
Yeah.
if you're
Well,
happy,
I'm happy, mate. I'm happy. Let's whack it together and get onto the back one.
Get onto the back one, and we're done.
So 4-wheel drive. So hubs out, hubs in. Hubs out, hubs in. And that's what this electric actuator is.
So the selector on there, slots in there,
Yeah.
and just flicks it backwards and forwards to
There you
engage
go.
forward right,
Nice.
or the front axle, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get a zippy tie cutter, pair of snips. We'll put that back in. They're a cool vehicle to work on actually. They're quite simple. I really like it so far to work on. Lots of people have told me that Jeeps are a pretty hard thing to, like they're a pain to work on, but
Who told you that?
I haven't found that to be the case so far at all. These are renowned for really bad turning circle. So I've just found the steering stops. I'm going to have a look at changing them to a bit shorter, just to see how I go. I don't want the tyres scrubbing or anything like that though. But I reckon if I can get a bolt, the same thread as that, put a nut on it and adjust it to the distance I want, I reckon that's a good start anyway. Worst case scenario, just put it back to factory. Well, I hope you liked that video. Make sure you hit subscribe or you're going to get bogged.